like clock. I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
In this video, I do want to talk about some differences between BoruShiki and KawaShiki, and of course, some of the fundamental differences between Momoshiki and Isshiki. But hypothetically, off of the rip right now, at age 13, Boruto and Kawaki, if Isshiki Ōtsutsuki were to take over Kawaki's body, and if Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki were to take over Boruto's body, KawaShiki would definitely be stronger, man, because the influence of the Ōtsutsuki members would be absolutely everything in this particular fight, man, because both the kids, Boruto and Kawaki, have absolutely no idea how to use the karma seal to its fullest potential. So in this particular fight, the Ōtsutsuki influence is going to be critical. And what we understand is that Isshiki Ōtsutsuki seems to be stronger than Momoshiki Ōtsutsuki. And I talked about this before in one of my previous videos, and some of you guys didn't necessarily understand it, so I'll go a little bit in depth in this video right here. And it really just stems off of their battles versus Naruto and Sasuke. If you guys do recall, Momoshiki fought Naruto and Sasuke, and I do have to point this out, there's a caveat. Boruto plus the other 4 Kage were there, but let's be honest, Momoshiki made quick work of the other 4 Kage, and Boruto came in extremely late. But here's the caveat. Naruto and Sasuke were extremely weakened in that fight. Naruto literally had less than 50% of his regular chakra said by Momoshiki, mainly because Momoshiki was the one that was absorbing Naruto's chakra, and Sasuke as well was extremely weakened, mainly because he had to use a time space ninjutsu to get to the dimension that Momoshiki was in. He had to teleport himself, the other 4 Kage plus Boruto, and also the 2 other scientists that snuck into the time space ninjutsu. So that right there pretty much knocked down Sasuke's chakra, and on top of that, Momoshiki was fighting in his own body. Now I'll talk about that later on. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki was fighting a full power Naruto, and he was fighting albeit a weakened Sasuke. Half of Naruto is pretty much stronger than the other 4 Kage plus Boruto. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki was pretty much being constrained by the vessel of Jigen. If you guys know, Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is pretty much in the body of Jigen. Isshiki Ōtsutsuki at the end of the fight was extremely pissed off, mainly because Jigen's body was not up to the task of completely finishing off Sasuke and Naruto. And of course, what we can possibly glean from that is that Isshiki Ōtsutsuki in his regular body would have probably demolished all of them, and he was just really held back by the body of Jigen. So in my opinion, just off of the rip, Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is stronger than Momoshiki. Therefore, the influence of Isshiki Ōtsutsuki in the KawaShiki versus BoruShiki fight would pretty much be absolutely insane in terms of KawaShiki just completely demolishing BoruShiki, mainly because Isshiki is just stronger than Momoshiki. Now here's the thing, that battle right there, 13-year-old KawaShiki versus 13-year-old BoruShiki, that really doesn't mean anything, mainly because we understand the real fight is going to be when they're about 16 or 17 after the time skip. This right here is going to be the big blood, is going to be the big kahuna, and it really just depends on how well Boruto actually improved. The fundamental differences between Momoshiki and Isshiki is going to give Boruto the upper hand. The thing about Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is that he tends to take over his vessel's whole body. We've seen it throughout the whole Boruto manga. The Kado organization speaks of Kawaki like he is just a thing. They don't think of him as a person, which is completely different from Momoshiki. Momoshiki actually looks at Boruto as a person, but in terms of Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, we understand that he takes over the whole person's body just because of the vessel of Jigen. Jigen is not Jigen anymore. Jigen is completely taken over by Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, and we refer to Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, of course, as Jigen, but we all know that Jigen is not there anymore. We can pretty much assume that Isshiki is going to be trying to do the same thing with Kawaki, and in this scene right here, it's a very popular theory that this right here is no longer Kawaki. This is going to be completely Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, and Isshiki is going to completely take over Kawaki's body. Now, in the case of Momoshiki, as I said before, he's more nuanced to this, and we really found this out back in episode 64 and episode 65, when he spoke about passing the power on to the next generation. In that episode with Momoshiki's Byakugan, he could see how much stronger Naruto was than Boruto, and he told Naruto like, hey, it's a shame that you cannot pass your power down to your son. Later on in that episode, Momoshiki literally ate Kinshiki, and Kinshiki passed his power down to his quote-unquote son in Momoshiki. And then when everybody was freaking out, everybody's like, hey, Momoshiki just ate his own kin. He pretty much explained to everybody like, hey, this is how my clan does it. We pass on our powers to the next generation. And he just kept relaying that message. In my opinion, Momoshiki for Boruto is literally passing his power on to the next generation. Now, of course, some people might have different opinions, mainly because he did say those blue eyes were going to take everything from you. And especially from the last chapter of Boruto, which Momoshiki famously said, soon you'll lose everything, but not now. He said something along the lines of that. but from my point of view, that really doesn't mean anything in terms of Momoshiki taking over Boruto's body. And here's where I think that's extremely key. Back in episode 64, when Boruto did not have the karma seal, he didn't think that he'd give his karma seal to Boruto at all. During that episode right there, he told Boruto, you are going to be burdened with an interesting fate. And of course, because he said the word burden, that pretty much means it's going to be a big problem for Boruto, aka he could possibly lose everything in the future. And of course, he goes on to say, Naruto, I wish you could have passed your power down to your son. So that pretty much means to me that the fate that Boruto still had even before he got the karma seal is still yet to come. Now, after Boruto defeated Momoshiki, I believe that Momoshiki expounded and explained more about what he was saying earlier, because it's still the same thing. It has nothing to do with the karma seal. He pretty much said the blue eyes that you have, they will take everything from you. And then on a separate note, he said those who defeat gods cannot remain ordinary individuals. We're seeing that already with Boruto making all these crazy transformations with the karma seal, but it's still yet to be seen what the blue eyes are going to take from him and why the blue eyes are going to take everything from him. That right there is going to be completely different than the karma seal. And I mean, like, yeah, I get it. Momoshiki speaks extremely vague. He never really says anything directly, mainly because the Boruto writers don't really want to spoil the future for Boruto. But just because of that, we understand that Momoshiki had nothing to do with Boruto, and he still told him, like, hey, your blue eyes are going to take everything from you. The writing, in my opinion, is literally on the wall. That has nothing to do with Momoshiki actually taking over Boruto's body. And if Momoshiki sticks to his lore where you actually pass your power down to the next generation, Boruto would have complete control of the power that Momoshiki currently has, and that's going to be extremely different in Kawaki's case, mainly because Kawaki would give his whole body and psyche over to Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, whereas Boruto would kind of try to tame the energy and the power that Momoshiki had passed down to him. Now, here's the one rebuttal that I'd understand to that point, and it's the fact that Boruto is not kin to Momoshiki. Boruto is not necessarily an Ōtsutsuki member, but here's the thing that I do have to say against that point. Momoshiki already seen and hinted towards the fact that Boruto had strong Ōtsutsuki chakra deep inside of him because of the Jogan. So that right there could have possibly justified Momoshiki's thinking in giving Boruto the karma seal. As I said, that right there could possibly mean that, hey, Boruto is the next generation of the Ōtsutsuki, mainly because he was born with natural Ōtsutsuki chakra. So of course, Momoshiki would feel free to pass on his karma seal to a character like Boruto. Now, that's going to be extremely advantageous to Boruto, mainly because he has the leverage to improve on Momoshiki's power, as to where Isshiki Ōtsutsuki, his vessels are probably always going to stay stagnant. Now, I do have to point this out. If Kawaki is possessed by Isshiki Ōtsutsuki at age 16, he will inevitably improve, man, because his body is going to get stronger. And once he gets into the prime of his physical ninja career, of course, right around like 27, 28, all the way up to like 40 or 50, of course, Kawaki is going to be stronger than he was. So he's not going to stay completely stagnant. But in the case of Boruto, it's going to be extremely different, man, because Boruto, with the power of Momoshiki, is going to be able to add things onto that. Now, some of you guys might not completely understand that sentiment, but here's the thing. Let's compare it to Naruto. Naruto with the Nine-Tailed Fox, if he were to completely give it to the Nine-Tails and only use the Nine-Tails power and just completely trust that alone, he would have never gotten as strong as he did. So what Naruto did do is that he gained control of the Nine-Tails power, added on Sage mode, added on Six Paths mode, and just made the Nine-Tails form that much stronger. And I feel like Boruto can possibly do the same thing in this particular situation. He can take Momoshiki's power, control it, plus adding other things on it. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same as Sage mode, but in my opinion, Boruto would definitely learn some more techniques to make his overall body stronger. And one of the biggest proponents to that is going to be the Jogan. Not only because Boruto naturally has it, but it seems like Momoshiki actually knows how to use the Jogan. Now, from what it seems, the goal for Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is going to be to return to his prime day. He wants to train his vessels so he can possibly return to his prime. Now, I do want to point this out. Isshiki's prime might be extremely strong. He might even be up there with some of the top tier Ōtsutsuki members, but as of right now, what we understand is because Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is trying to get back to his prime, there is a cap on what Kawaki can possibly do. Whereas Boruto, he's trying to master Momoshiki's power and then add on top of that. So BoruShiki at this point may not be stronger than KawaShiki, but in the future, because of the potential, Boruto is going to skyrocket past KawaShiki and therefore be stronger than him. Now, the big question is going to be how Boruto's training is going to progress, mainly because at the particular point when they do face off at age 16 or age 17, whichever one it is, Boruto is going to be at a disadvantage just because of the fact that Momoshiki is not going to be stronger than Isshiki. The question is going to be, has Boruto maintain and control Momoshiki's power and train to the point where he then surpasses KawaShiki? Now, another big question is going to be, how will Boruto's future, or excuse me, how will Boruto's fate affect Boruto's progress? I mean, because we understand that Momoshiki did say that those blue eyes are going to eventually take everything from him. Let's say that Boruto's eyes actually does take everything from him. Some tragedy happened, his whole family gets wiped out. How will Boruto react? Will he just go into a state of depression and not want to do anything for like a year and a half, possibly something like that, and then that will possibly stunt his development as a ninja? Or will he take the Sasuke approach where that loss fuels him and forces him to train even stronger, possibly does anything for more power? In the case with Kawaki, a large part is going to be predicated about when Isshiki Ōtsutsuki actually does take over Kawaki's body, and also if Isshiki Ōtsutsuki takes over Kawaki's body. Even if Isshiki Ōtsutsuki actually takes over Kawaki's body, of course there is a scenario in which Kashin Koji does not succeed in assassinating Jigen and Isshiki Ōtsutsuki is still in Jigen's body, and this right here is actually Kawaki. But let's just go off of the scenario that this right here is probably not Kawaki, and this right here is actually Isshiki Ōtsutsuki actually controlling Kawaki's body. When is Isshiki Ōtsutsuki going to take over Kawaki's body? Because as of right now, Kawaki, being Kawaki as a young kid, is with the Uzumakis as of right now, and he's in vigorous training, not necessarily superbly vigorous training, but he's in training with Naruto, and Naruto is teaching him a lot of things. If it is possible for Naruto to teach him a lot of things before Isshiki Ōtsutsuki does take over his body, KawaShiki is going to be infinitely stronger than what he was before, or if Naruto didn't teach him anything. So in turn, Naruto's training might actually end up hurting Boruto in the future. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, and give me who you think is going to be stronger. But it's me, your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.